A beautiful mind. That's you, Gemini Moon. Hi everyone, this is Mina back with another moon sign video for you. And today we're going to be talking about Moon in Gemini, which is a really good moon placement. It's just kind of misunderstood, and these people are really good, so I'm going to have a lot of fun talking about it. If that sounds like something you're down with, smash subscribe so we can stay connected and keep talking about astrology. Let's get into the structure of this video. First, we will talk about what does the moon do in our birth charts. Then we will touch on Gemini moon basics and the aspect of the mother, which mother is represented by moon in our birth chart. And this is per subscribers' request that I start talking about this, so I will touch on it briefly. Then we will go into the nurturing aspect of the moon. What does a Gemini moon need to feel nurtured? How do they nurture others? And how can they care for themselves, most importantly? So if that sounds like something you like, please stick around. Our moon is our most personalized emotional core. It is not something that's meant to evolve into something else. It's not something that's meant to be judged. It's something that's meant to be nurtured inside of us and cared for what it truly is. And that's just going to make our moon a stronger emotional muscle to lift up our visible parts of our chart, like our sun, our rising sign, our midheaven. That's why it's such a good investment to take care of our moon signs, you guys, and to not try to be something we're not at that deep emotional level. Because when we nurture our energy, we also bring out natural gifts that we have, because the moon is a home for natural gifts and abilities. All right, you guys, let's touch on Gemini moon basics. Your moon is in Gemini, meaning that you're of the element air, mutable quality, ruled by the planet Mercury, and the mascot the twins. What does this all mean together? This means that as an air moon, you're very different from water and earth moons, which is where the moon is most happy. In air and fire, the moon is not so happy, but it's still a valid emotional core. It just processes differently. And how air moons process is that they need to logically understand why they feel the way they feel. They like to analyze their feelings because they want to mentally understand why. They want to understand why they feel the things they feel. And this kind of goes for Virgo moon too, because that's a Mercury ruled moon. Mercury is a planet of communication associated with the god Hermes, who was the messenger of the gods. So you guys, and with those twins, you have an amazing mental momentum because you have the intellectual energy of two people. So I would like to think that this is a very busy moon, and it also might be a little bit of a nervous and anxious moon because Mercury can be a little bit anxious and nervous. And it's truly a fusion of the heart and the mind. That's what a Gemini moon really is doing here. The intellectual center and the emotional center are acting as one unit, which is pretty unique and powerful if taken care of properly. Let's touch on the mother. If you have a Gemini moon, the chances are that your mother probably cared a lot about your communication skills and wanted to make sure that you were a strong communicator and that you were well versed and liked in your small community. But there's also a chance that your mother dealt with her emotions very logically instead of emotionally, which made you follow suit and maybe deny yourself emotionally a little bit. Your mother could have also been known for being very chatty and friendly and smart and funny even. So that's what I will say about that. What does a Gemini moon need to feel nurtured? A Gemini moon needs time away from people, even if they love you, to really reflect upon their feelings and to break them down, analyze them, understand why they feel certain things. This mental reflection in terms of their emotions is very important for them. But it can put people off sometimes. It can make them seem cold, but they're not cold people at all. They just need this detached time to really understand themselves emotionally. So if a Gemini moon kind of is pulling back from you sometimes, just understand that's a normal process for them emotionally. And of course, as everything, aspects and house placement matters a lot. So if you're one of those Gemini Pluto moons, I'm not saying that you don't need this time, but maybe you have a stronger emotional center rather than analytical center at times. And, maybe if your moon in Gemini is in the 12th house, maybe your emotions and everything locked up with the Gemini moon is just harder for you to be conscious of, and maybe you're not aware of what you're doing all the time with this Gemini moon. So definitely check out your aspects and house placements. A Gemini moon also needs to keep up their momentum because they are, mutual air twins. And I should have said this, mutual is like hard to grasp energy. It wants the freedom to be everywhere and anywhere. So Gemini moon people have a deep need for intellectual freedom, which, please don't tell them what to do. They probably will not like that very much. They need their loved ones' intellectual and emotional trust in this way, that if they want advice, they'll just ask you for it, and to respect those mental boundaries for them because they're so smart and independent-minded people. But yes, keeping up that momentum is crucial because idle time is really bad for Mercury-ruled moons, especially Gemini and Virgo, which are the Mercury-ruled moons, because with all this energy built up in your minds and it's tied up with your heart too, if you're not doing something with that, that's enough to drive anyone crazy basically and make you feel very mentally overwhelmed and not in a good spot. So it's really crucial for Gemini moons to find like their stimulation sweet spot where they're not overstimulating themselves or understimulating themselves, and they can keep a healthy momentum going in life so they don't have all that horrible idle time when they're not doing anything. And they also feel nurtured when other people have a similar momentum to them, which is different for every Gemini because the whole chart needs to be considered. Gemini moon feels very loved when they are being recognized for their intelligence. I'm not saying that they need to hear that because they probably know they're very smart, but it probably does make them feel pretty good to know that other people respect and recognize their intelligence, because they're ruled by Mercury, the planet that explains everything in our brain. A Gemini moon really does need people to lighten their mood because they can get in these really negative mental loops of thinking and can kind of get heavy because this moon is a little bit irritable because of the mutable quality. It's very changeable, and it really, the emotional mood is really dictated by what's going on in their minds and how they're analyzing everything in their immediate environments. So if you catch them in a negative loop, if you want to nurture them, make them laugh, lighten their mood, even if you have to make fun of them. Like, make sure you're getting them laughing because when they're emotionally refreshed, they're always making us laugh. So let's return the favor to our Gemini moon. It's really emotionally renewing for Gemini moons to surround themselves with people who are very interesting to talk to. It could be like a emotional mental recharge for them and an inspiration even. So Gemini moon needs people who are open communicators that won't close the door on them when they can sometimes say mean things, because remember, our moon is our emotional instinct. So sometimes Gemini moons can say pretty harsh things without thinking because Mercury is their ruler, and Mercury pretty much rules our speech and auditory systems going on, and they kind of need people who are willing to cool down and talk things out with them in a level-headed manner. They really appreciate when people, give them that benefit of the doubt because they're pretty great people. And if you're willing to talk things out with them, they will match that energy and definitely talk things out with you most of the time, which makes them pretty awesome in my opinion. As long as you keep that door open with them, they're going to be down to talk things out with you. And they also need people to listen to them genuinely. A Gemini moon can really tell if you're not listening to them, and they don't really like that. They will just fly away from you basically and not take you seriously in that way. Alright, you guys, how do Gemini moons nurture us? How do they nurture other people? Well, they will make you laugh, and I know this sounds superficial, but that's so important in life. Like, they will really lighten your mood with their smiles. They all have beautiful smiles. Most Gemini placements do. A Gemini moon will show you that they love you by keeping in touch with you. Now, whether that's long messages, whether that's long phone calls, or even short messages, short phone calls, mutual can go back and forth in that way. So you can't predict the amount of communication, but if they stay in communication with you, that means that they are nurturing you and that you matter to them, basically. Even if they're just sending you a GIF, a picture, a song, if they're going out of their way to stay in communication with you, that means a lot and you shouldn't take that for granted. they will give you interesting things to think about because they're so smart and they're always sucking in data. They're like a data vacuum, giving you, all of us, an invitation into their mind and hearts. And that's a pretty big deal because Gemini can be kind of protective of their mind because they know that they're smart and they don't want to just like share that with everyone because they know it's their superpower. So if they're giving you a view into their mind, into how they think and process things, that is pretty big. They will help you embrace spontaneity because if they love you, they're going to want to take you on spontaneous short adventures, whether that's to a quick walk on the beach or a quick walk at the park. Just the possibilities are endless with Gemini. If they're taking you out spontaneously, they want to show you a good time, and that's how they show you they love you, is by doing these spontaneous, fun, short adventures with you. They will also verbally defend you if you are someone they care about because they are communication masters, and they will give you their powers in that way, lend you their powers and verbally defend you if they see you in distress, but only if they really care about you because they are very logical people. So if they think that you're in the wrong, they might not defend you in the way that you would want to emotionally, but they're going to come to some sort of defense for you, even if that's just helping you understand why you got into the situation. It's all beneficial, you guys. It's coming from a good place. So if they're nurturing you, like I said, they're always going to be wanting to talk to you in some way or form, and they'll use any type of communication, whether that's phone, Instagram, just all the different medias. They'll just be keeping in touch with you. They won't be a stranger communication wise. And lastly, this is the biggest thing. If they're nurturing you, if they love you, then they're listening to you. And you guys, Gemini has a short attention span. So, because their minds are so busy. So if they're giving you their attention, don't just say, oh, I deserve that. No, like, see it for what it is. It's pretty big for a Gemini person, especially a moon person, to give you their honest, complete attention. That is Gemini love right there. Alright, you guys, let's go into the most important part of the video. What can a Gemini moon do to nurture itself, which is so important for every moon sign, but especially Gemini and Virgo, because they're ruled by Mercury, meaning that there's no separation between their brains and their hearts here, which means that they have to kind of tackle two issues at once that are both felt so intensely. So the number one thing you guys can do to nurture yourselves is to really take cool down periods mentally where you're doing something that kind of levels your brain out. So you could take a big emotional rest, whether that's meditation, exercise. I think exercise is great for Gemini moons. Just going on a short walk, catching some air, listening to a podcast that doesn't get you too excited. Just anything. It depends on you guys. Anything that will cool your mind down in a healthy way, and hopefully will help you get good sleep, because sleep is really important for Mercury people, period. Gemini moons also need to protect the data that's going into their minds, and I know this is hard to do because if you're just in close proximity to someone, you are taking in data probably not even wanting to. So it's really important that you try to do some quality control. Surround yourself with people that you really agree and align with intellectually and emotionally, so you're sucking in data from good sources, not negative sources like all these conspiracy theory stuff. I'm not saying it's universally bad, but sometimes you guys, like I said, can get into these really negative, toxic mental loops, and I don't want that for you. So be very protective over the data that's coming into your brain, and make sure it's good stuff that makes you feel good and releases those endorphins and serotonin and all those good brain chemicals. And this kind of is out there, but I do think that because Gemini is ruled by Mercury, the planet of communication, auditory system, speech systems, that music can be a very healing element because you're listening to that. And I notice a lot of Gemini moons can be uplifted by music, can be put in a very good emotional space. And this is different for every Gemini moon. Some Gemini moons can listen to sad stuff and feel uplifted. Some people need like upbeat stuff that keeps their momentum going more. It's very individualized, but I do think music is a very healing element for you guys. And I even think that audiobooks, like any voice that's very soothing for you, I think can have a healing element because of that connection with auditory and listening, you guys. And I also think that because your heart and mind are one and fused, that you have a very unique gift with this moon to have beautiful thoughts and feelings. Like if you put those on paper and journal, unlike any other, because they're working as one, such a sensitive part of you is working with the logical part. So if you're putting that down on paper, even if it's negative stuff, for some reason I feel like it always comes out as art and can be very healing for Gemini moons. And you can have something to show other people, because not everyone has that gift to express themselves so beautifully emotionally. So you could make poems out of your feelings, books, songs, so many possibilities, and it really is a unique gift to you guys. Lastly, don't forget the people who are loving you for who you are, that are not labeling you as cold, that are keeping that door of communication open for you, that are making you feel mentally refreshed and keeping that momentum going, because you can be recharged by other people's energy as a mutual moon. You guys, I had a lot of fun with this video because Gemini moon is pretty awesome. Let me know what you think in the comments about what I said and share your experiences. I will see you in the next